Patrick McNeil back here with you at the intermission. And something we did last year was try to tee up the Quebec-based teams before they come to Center 200 because we don't see a lot of those teams. Now on the schedule, coming up Wednesday, the Eagles will host the Victoriaville Tigres. We'll see if that game can go through. Of course, Center 200, as we record this, is still having issues with power and whatnot. And of course, we hope everybody is staying safe as best they can. But we do want to get some insight on the Victoriaville Tigres, and we're joined now by Zakary Mercier, who covers the Tigres for lanouvelle.net. Zakary, when I look at this Victoriaville team, I see some similarities to Cape Breton. Victoriaville moves out a number of veterans in the offseason, and just like Cape Breton, bring in two 20-year-olds, Thomas Belzil on the back end and Thomas Bellegarde up front. What can you tell us about the changes with Victoriaville? Does it feel like a new team this year?
It's the same core team from a couple of years, but it feels great to see the team back on the ice, and it's a great start. You have three 20 years old with Loïc Daigle, Thomas Bellegarde, and Thomas Belzil at defense. So it's a pretty same core with Maxime Pellerin, Pierre-Olivier Roy, Nathan Darvaux in the net, but it's a pretty similar situation with a lot of young guys that's just coming.
It's interesting to see the rebuild continue from the President's Cup championship team in 2021. And of course, a big part of this team going forward is Justin Gendron, who's a first-round pick in 2021. He's in his second year in the queue. Tell us about how you expect him to progress. I know the team advertises him on the website and whatnot. What kind of player is he?
He's a shooter. He's a pure shooter, pure scorer. Last season, he had a very great camp, very great preseason game. He maybe a slow start, a couple of injuries throughout the year, but at the end of the season, he was very great. This year, he starts on the top six in the second line, I think, and he's played first power play, getting some great minutes. Great opportunity to succeed. He's a big part of the rebuild. I'm hoping that he's going to take the next step. Maybe he has worked on his skating this summer, but he's a shooter. He can score.
Of course, a big part of the Victoriaville Tigres, past and present, is Carl Mallette, because he was captain of the team that won in 2002 and then head coach of the team that wins in 2021. Not very often we see somebody do that in the QMJHL. A big adjustment going from coaching a team star-studded like the team that won to the young team that he has now. How do you feel he's handled that responsibility?
Pretty good. Kel has been great since his first year. First year, he has won the cup, so not a bad start at all. Last year, he was a really, really young core, really young group, and they have made a push. They were just a point shy from making the playoff last year, with not so great, with many injuries, many rough time of the season. He has done a great job, and this year he has more offense, more punch on the offense with the acquisition of Thomas Bellegarde. He's really great with Tommy Cormier and Maxime Pellerin, so there's going to be some really good offense. And in the back end, they're still young, but the two goalies are amazing, and Gabriel Daigle and Nathan Darvaux. Cal is doing a really great job to lead this team through some fun years in the next 2 or 3 years.
As you mentioned, Dag picked second overall. So interesting to see all the exciting young talent that's sprinkled around the league. You also talked about Maxime Pellerin. He's a big part of this team, 19 years old, almost hit the 30-goal mark this past season, and also just had a taste of pro camp with the St. Louis Blues. I know it's early in the season, but do you think he gained confidence from that camp, and what do we expect from him this year?
Yeah, I talked to him after the camp, and he was pretty confident that he can contribute more. He's the leader of this team. He's the captain, a guy from Victoriaville, and he's playing with the first-line center this year, Tommy Cormier. Last year, he played a couple games with him, but he got hurt and missed the rest of the season. So this year, this duo is going to be completely crazy, I think. If I had the prediction, he's going to hit the 30 mark this year. Last season, 29 goals, 31 assists for 60 points. Was really the offensive motor of this team, and he's going to continue for sure this year.
For those that may not remember the name Tommy Cormier, he was quite the story last year as well. He's kind of picked up off the scrap heap, so to speak, and ends up having a major role with the Victoriaville Tigres. So exciting to see a player cash in on a second chance. The last thing I wanted to ask, Zakary, a bit of a general question, but Eagles getting ready to host the Tigres. It's the only time Victoriaville will come to Center 200. What should fans look forward to from this Victoriaville team, and what makes them exciting to watch?
There's this work ethic. They work so hard. There's a really tough team. They just never stop working. They're on your face hockey. Their power play this season has been great, and their goalies can win games by themselves. So Nathan Darvaux or Gabriel Daigle is going to be in the net. They are both really good. Both can win the game. So it's going to be a pretty good matchup. But I think their work ethic is really awesome, and they're never going to give up, even if they're losing by 1, 2, or 3 goals.
Well, it will be interesting to see going with that veteran-youngster combination in net. So we've seen that in the past in Cape Breton. So curious to see who we see between the pipes and Victoriaville. Hopefully everything can go ahead as scheduled. Well, Zakary, enjoy having you on the broadcast. Great insight, and have fun covering the Tigres this season. Thanks for this.
Thank you.
That is Zakary Mercier. He covers the Victoriaville Tigres for LaNouvelle.net.